Hello and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I am Christine and today I will be reading to you from the Trick or Treat Tarot by Barbara Moore and illustrated by Jonathan Hunt. So the spread I'm going to use today is in the Trick or Treat Tarot Companion and it's called the Haunted House Spread. And so the premise of this spread is that when we dream about houses, we're actually dreaming about ourselves. The house represents the self. So we're going to go through this haunted house and maybe find out about a little bit of the skeletons lurking in our closets and maybe some of the things we don't want to face. And I picked this spread because it can get a little bit deep. And so for those of you who think you can't have a deep spread with a novelty deck, let's see how this can shake out. All right. Cut the deck. And away we go. All right, so our first card, the Bats in the Belfry, something that seems scary, but is actually quite useful. And in that we have the Queen of Pentacles. So the bats in our belfry that are actually quite useful is maybe that sense of practicality. Maybe sometimes you feel like you're being over practical. Maybe you're being too thrifty. Maybe you're, reduce, reuse, recycle, but maybe you're reusing and reusing and reusing. I had a grandmother who was very fond of reusing plastic bags over and over and over again. And I do reuse my plastic bags if they're still clean. I don't wash them though if they're not. Yeah, so bats in the belfry, yeah, could be that. But it's actually pretty useful to know how to reuse something or how to remake it or how to be thrifty without cutting corners, to be responsible without being neurotic. So the Queen of Pentacles is a little bit of trying to find that balance. And so she's our bats in the belfry. Card number 2. Skeletons in the closet. Ooh, we've all got them. Yeah, we do. Something you're hiding from yourself or from others. Queen of Swords. We got some Queen energy coming in here. Queen of Swords. And maybe this Queen of Swords is that harsh side of yourself that you try not to show anybody. I know I try not to show my harsh side to a lot of people, but there's some times when you're like, when you really want to be off with their head, or sometimes when you just want to be cool and logical and you want to cut through the baloney and everybody's bringing you their baloney. You're like, yeah, let me get my sword. I'm going to do away with this. But sometimes that's a skeleton in the closet because maybe you're in a job where you're working with customer service, or you're working with children, or you're working with old people, or you're working with people who are old and they should probably not be in your office anymore because it's like, oh Lord, man, you need to retire, please. And you have to dial that back. Yes, you want to cut through and you want to get to the problem. But yeah. So let's see how this is laying out on the table here. So we've got our Queen of Pentacles here. She's our bats in the belfry. We've got our Queen of Swords here, who's our skeletons in the closet. So what else do we have to look at? The wailing ghost. Something that is haunting you. What is haunting you? Oh, the King of Pentacles. Huh. Haunted by the King of Pentacles. Now that's interesting that we would have Queen of Pentacles with her bats in the belfry being haunted by the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles in this card is the big bad wolf, and you can kind of see that the big bad wolf here, if you look closely, has Little Red Riding Hood's cape back here. Yeah. And then there's the basket of goodies, of which he's gonna have a nice big fat pinnacle there. So King of Pentacles is typically a card of accomplishment. It's a card of success. It's the person who kind of has it all. But if you take it in this context with the big bad wolf who has just recently devoured Little Red Riding Hood, yeah, maybe maybe that is a wailing ghost that's something that's haunting you. Maybe you kind of feel like you've been taken advantage of by somebody who you thought was grandma because they were wearing grandma's clothes, but grandma turned out to be a beast. And maybe you've been, what I, use the old phrase, being crawfished by somebody. In other words, they were not what they seemed to be, and they had some pretty nasty ass claws. So yeah, that's something in the background that definitely needs to be faced, because the things that haunt you will always haunt you until you turn around and you face them and you're like, bitch, please. And when you confront those things in your memory, if you confront those memories, then they don't have a hold on you. All right. Crazy poltergeist, a destructive behavior that's damaging you. Crazy poltergeist. Here we go with the magician. The magician. So yeah, let's talk about this magician here for a second. This is the thing that's haunting you. The magician. So the magician could be somebody else. It could be somebody who kind of a trickster. So that would go really nastily here with this big bad wolf character. If somebody's done you wrong, yeah, that is going to be a long-term hurt there. That is going to be something that is quite bothering on a heart, possibly soul level. The other part of this magician could be that we're talking about you and either how you feel you're not able to manifest what you want, or how you are manifesting, but what you're manifesting is not what you want, or it's incomplete, or it it hasn't it hasn't been fulfilling. It hasn't had the fulfillment that you're looking for. So we could be tying in with this big bad wolf, or we could just be tying in with your own personal frustration, which you tend to want to take out on other people, but you don't because you're a better person than that. Everybody's fighting some kind of battle. And since you fight a lot of battles, you know that, and so you don't take it out on other people, so that's good. But yeah, we've got a magician here. Now, let's look at energy vampires. What's sucking the life out of you? Knight of Swords. We have got a tremendous amount of court cards happening here. So you've got some personalities in your life. Knight of Swords. This is kind of sucking some stuff out of you. So we've got our King of Pentacles, which is a big bad wolf here. We've got our magician, who could be kind of a trickster. Or is this you being a trickster and it's causing problems in other areas? That's another possibility. Don't let's not set that aside. Okay. We've got our athletic sock ninja here, jumping in the window. Don't step on the candles, kid. Time vampire. It's those sneaky things. It's those sneaky things that come in from the side, from out of the blue. And yeah, it's true. Some truth is kind of flying into the window here, but it's like, man, this is not the time. This is not the time. I got other stuff to do. Now maybe this is the guy who's saying, okay, we're on to you, magician. The jig is up. And that's going to take some time to repair whatever was working or in the works. And, and maybe it was just trying to do something, just trying to do something kind of, more of a side hustle, something you didn't want really to take a whole lot of time, and it wound up taking a whole lot of time. The truth was, this project turned out to be bigger than what you thought. So a few angles for this. There's a few angles for this. We could look at this from the perspective of, yeah, somebody else is the magician and has kind of done you wrong a little bit here. Or you were kind of trying to do something aside, maybe a side hustle, a hobby, something, and it wound up getting way away from you. It just wound up sucking up all your time. And that's the truth. The truth you found out was like, oh, this kind of sucks. All right. And for our final card, card 6, Knight of another freaking court card. What is with all of these court cards? You might we'll talk a little bit about what all of that could mean. So, the kindly fairy godmother giving a gift or blessing that can help you clear out your haunted energy. Okay, so we've got a Knight of Swords, we've got a Knight of Wands, we've got 2 queens, we've got a king and a magician. This is quite the court going on here in your haunted house. So the Knight of Wands is gonna you're looking for a Knight of Wands that can help you clear the way. But I can tell you that it's not going to look like what you think it's going to look like. So we've got our gladiator in his cardboard chariot with his stuffed pony here. But we also notice that Mr. Gladiator here is ripped. And so while his chariot may not be wood, it's cardboard, and the pony is certainly not real, and neither is the sword, he does have some assets that have the strength to help you with whatever this problem is that has emerged. And it may be that you were trying to do a side hustle, you got crawfish that wound up taking a whole bunch of time that you didn't want to spend on this, and really you're hiding how pissed you feel about it. Because it was all from a sense of practicality. You were like, yeah, if I can work this out, if I can manifest this, some other things will go easier, but it didn't. I could get to the good side of the King of Pentacles or the wrong side of the King of Pentacles. It seems like it kind of got on the wrong side, but you are not without assistance. And this is what can kind of help clear this energy out. Now, the Knight of Wands is a character of action. It is fire and inspiration and forward movement, and it can be a little impulsive. It can get you into things that are hard to finish. But this Knight of Wands is here to finish. And this could just simply be your own energy of like, all right, let's get all of this wrangled in and taken care of and get ready to close this out and move on. Because it's just taken up too much time. Turned out to be not exactly what you wanted it to be. So, all right. So, yeah, look into that Knight of Wands for some inspiration, a little bit of power, a little bit of fire, some firepower to come through and just clear this out, you know? And so whatever has been on the side burner here, which seemed like a practical choice, but just didn't. It just turned out to be a time vampire. Yeah, it's time to let that go. Get with your Knight of Wands here, your inner Knight of Wands, or maybe it's just, you know, your best friend who has read all of Marie Kondo's books and is going to come clean out your house with you. Yeah, whatever that is for you, Knight of Wands, time to call it in. Time to phone a friend, get a lifeline, and wrap it up. Yep. It's not worth your time. Okay? So, yeah, yes, it's a trick-or-treat tarot. Yes, it's a novelty deck. Yes, it looks like all your friends and neighbors at a costume party. But you can find some profound truth. And sometimes profound truth does come from your friends and neighbors at a costume party. All right, thank you for watching. Bye for now.